Welcome to Indiana Sports Beat Radio, presented by Andy Moore Honda of Bloomington.
Know your role and shut your mouth, you jabroni!
Fires upfield into the end zone. It is caught. Jelani Woods, touchdown! INDY! A 43-point night for Tyrese Halliburton.
How do you like that, partner?
Renew now, drives in low, throws up a shot. It doesn't go. Tipped up and in by Anthony Leal. Indiana takes the lead.
It's pretty simple. I win. Google me.
Now, here's your host, Jim Coyle.
Hello, everybody. Welcome aboard on this Thursday. Appreciate you being with us as always. Jim Coyle with you, hanging ahead of the festivities. Appreciate you joining us on this Thursday. What looks a little cloudy out there today. I'm not sure where it is where you are, but hopefully it's shining on you. Sunshine, that is. Looking forward to Shannon Griffith joining us on the program today. We'll talk some IU football as college football gets their first day of practice under their belts. And we will hear from Kurt Cignetti along the way. His thoughts on yesterday's practice, etc., etc. Bob Kravitz from BobKravitz.com will join us. I never know what me and Bob are going to talk about. A little coach stuff. Because the NFL returns tonight. Kind of. Sort of. It's a Hall of Fame game, which means you're going to see, I guess you see the starters for at least a series, maybe two. Bears versus Texans, Canton, Ohio, home of the prestigious NFL Hall of Fame. We didn't talk about Dallas James being added to the IU roster a lot yesterday, the IU basketball roster. We'll get into that some. Team USA basketball gets a resounding win over South Sudan, although, man, that was fun. I didn't even get to watch the game live. I was watching the replay, trying to watch it as much as possible, but that's a pretty good team that Team USA has on board. Shannon Griffith, like I said, joining us. Bob Kravitz. Travis Miller from BoilerUpload will be along the way, as well as Chris Denari of the Indiana Pacers. Get caught back up with Chris, see how his summer is going. And while I am thinking about it, do not forget, people, that Never Lose Hoop golf outing, the Jordan Hulse family. It's a family tradition, and it actually is. This was started by J.C. Hulse. J.C. was on with us a few days back, and this started with his own bout with cancer. But Never Lose Hoop is geared strictly and solely towards assisting area families that have kids affected by cancer. And this has just been an absolute it's been so special to be a part of this, and I'm grateful that I get to be a part of it. But you can go to, and we're not seeing now, I got to go find the my link to lay up there, or the banner rather. But you can go to just events.golfstatus.com. Events.golfstatus.com. And then there's a search bar at the top. Search Never for Never Lose Hoop or Never Lose Hoop. It pops right up. And you can go right in there, sign up, team, individual. Heard from Jason Stevenson yesterday, father of Ian Stevenson, walk on for the IU basketball team. They have a team in this. Luke Goody is playing, I believe. Anthony Leal has a team, I know. So we got a ways out yet, so still confirming all of these names, but there will be multiple IU athletes at this event. Great photo opportunities. And you get not one, not two, but three shots at a hole-in-one worth a combined $20,000. Two $5,000 hole-in-ones and a $10,000 hole-in-one opportunity. Where do you go and get all of that? Any of that? You get lunch. First of all, you're going to get a nice t-shirt. Then you're going to get lunch from Chick-fil-A. Then a sit-down dinner after the golf. Sit-down dinner. Yeah, nice. Silent auction. Lots of IU memorabilia. Colts, Pacers, all kinds of things. But I take this very serious. So please, I ask that you do as well. If this is something you can participate in, I ask that you do. Grab it, get a team. Let me know. Let's get the ISB people out in force on this. And let's see. Well, there was one other thing. Events.golfstatus.com is where you can go. Jordan Hulls, of course, will be there. There was something else. Oh, there's a chance to win a stay and play golf package for 4 at a premier golf facility. And I'm not talking about just Indiana. You would have a choice of multiple places to choose from on that. And it's Thursday, August 22nd at the Golf Club at Eagle Point in Bloomington, 11 a.m. check-in time, 12 p.m. or p.m. Yeah, well, it is 12 p.m. 12 p.m. noon, shotgun start. So looking forward to that. It's only $125. Normal scramble cost $500 a foursome, but you get way more. You get way more back than you give. That I promise you. How's everybody doing on the Andy Moore Honda hotline? I appreciate you guys very, very much, as you know, I hope. There we go. Back with you. Looking forward to talking to Bob and Coach Shannon this morning. How's everybody else doing? Let's see. Russell says, men wear shirts in Ireland. He knows he wore one too. Woo. There you go, baby. Yeah, for those of you that are following along on YouTube, you can see that I'm wearing my Ireland t-shirt. You know, my namesake is James Patrick Coelho. I did one of those 23andMe things. I mean, I knew I was half, the Irish was there. Ended up, I found out that it's 75% Northwestern European, which is Ireland for pretty much that. And it's the northwest part of Ireland somewhere. But then my mother's side ended up being Welsh. So really had that Northwestern, that British thing going. That's right. No, it's not supposed to do that. I don't have a lot of time yet left, but I'll talk about some of this stuff with Bob. This is easy to talk about with Bob. You can't make this up. The Olympics, I'm trying to take this Olympics in. I realize there's just too much that I've let pass, and not just because, I'm so busy. It doesn't matter. So even though it's been late at night and these are replays, encore presentations, as they call them, I'm trying to watch. I was watching what I thought was women's gymnastics. I just thought it was women's gymnastics, not because of anything that led me to believe that, other than the participant that was on the floor. It was from China and had a short bob cut hair, so you can't tell from there. But the outfit that this person was wearing, I'm like, oh wow, okay, this is women's, and turns out that it wasn't. And I kept looking. All I did was stare at that outfit. I'm like, are you kidding me? But then to turn it out, or to top it off, the competitor was named Hoshimoto. Daiki Hoshimoto. That's right. Daiki Hoshimoto. And the announcers just kept saying, Daiki. And I'm like, well, that's pretty par for the course. Russell's asking, who's Chris Denari? What are you kidding me? Someone educate the man. I'm going to take a quick break early here, but I'll get back around to this Olympic stuff. I'm going to have someone explain judo to me, and maybe Coach Griff can do that. I mean, I understand for the most part, but then I'm like, this guy got a pin last night, and he's like, oh, he's got to hold it for 10 seconds. Well, and the opponent was laying there, and like at about 5 seconds, he made one like little effort, and I'm like, you're at the Olympics, man. You got 10 seconds, and that's all you got? I was like, come on. You got to grind, dude. You want one of those medals. Gee whiz. But I don't know. Then I started thinking about old school Olympic, because there are so many events that people were like, man, why is that? Because you got these tough events, gymnastics and swimming and wrestling and just all these events that are really, really hard to win. And then you've got, there are some, ping pong. Well, what they're doing is different. I'll give you, but it's ping pong. But, archery, we're talking old school there, baby. Back in the original Olympics, that had to be one of the original sports. You had archery, the rock throw, the stick throw, the ferrule throw. Let's see, some running, of course, the marathon, maybe the tiger race. You're racing the tiger to see if you live, and who knows. Hey, we're going to take a break. Coming up next, our good friend, Coach Shannon Griffith, going to join us. We will talk some football as the collegians, they get day one in the books. We'll be back to talk about it right after this.
This segment is brought to you by the Rusty Gator.
In the market for a new or used vehicle? Well, nobody beats the prices and selection of Andy Moore Honda in Bloomington. Right now, get a brand new Honda with no payments for 90 days. That's right, 2023 and 2024 Honda Pilots, HRVs, CRVs, Honda Ridgelines, payment-free for 90 days. Or get 0.9% APR financing for 36 months on a 2023 Honda Ridgeline. Go to AndyMooreHonda.com and get more to your door. If you're looking for a home in the Indianapolis area, you need Cheryl Sizemore from RE/MAX Advanced Realty. Cheryl Sizemore has over 2 decades of experience, and that could be the difference in you getting the home you want in today's tough housing market. Reach out to Cheryl Sizemore from RE/MAX Advanced Realty at Cheryl@IndyHomePros.com or 317-298-0961. Cheryl Sizemore from RE/MAX Advanced Realty. Let Cheryl Sizemore get you in the home you want today. Cheryl@IndyHomePros.com.
Looking for someone to cater your next corporate event, family reunion, or tailgate? To some, a garnish may be nothing more than just a decoration put last on a plate. But in Bloomington, catering starts with Garnish Catering. Serving all of Bloomington and surrounding areas, Garnish Catering is waiting to help make your next event one to remember. Planning a great event shouldn't have to be stressful. Whether we quote you just for catering or a total event package, you can trust that you're making the right choice with Garnish Catering. Visit garnishcatering.com. That's garnishcatering.com. Garnish Catering is a proud partner of WOW Food Group.
Whether it's a night out with the family, after work with colleagues, or catching the game with friends, Bubba's 33 is the place for you. Bubba's 33 offers a mouthwatering menu of selections that are all made from scratch every day. The portions are big, but the prices are small. And with over 50 big screen TVs, you'll never miss the big game. Bubba's 33, pizza, burgers, beer.
Country living is just a swing away. It can be hard to find the exact home that fits your family's needs, so there couldn't be a better time to build a new home with Property Shore Construction. Now building exclusively south of Bloomington within the Stonecrest Golf community. Choose from one of the gorgeous Stonecrest Signature Series house plans. We have several lots available with scenic views of the golf course. Contact Amy Rhoda with Rebesco Real Estate for additional information. 812-583-0919 or go to mystonecrestliving.com. That's mystonecrestliving.com for more details.
Enjoy healthy, delicious meals at home without the hassle with the Fresh Fork. Chef-curated, ready-made meals delivered right to your doorstep. Proudly fueling IU athletes and now available to you with a menu that's always fresh and diverse, from hearty proteins to fresh salads. The Fresh Fork empowers you to make better food choices without compromising. Let the Fresh Fork help transform your lifestyle for a healthier way of living today at thefreshforkonline.com. Use promo code RADIO20 and get $20 off your first order.
This segment is brought to you by the Rusty Gator.
Stepping into the batter's box, I see an Indiana football banner behind you. Are you to tell me that you stayed in town overnight and did not apprise me of that information?
No, I'm in the great state of Illinois at a working conference that I'm at for the next
that's a pretty damn good looking background. I'll be honest with you. I can tell now that it's a green screen background. I couldn't earlier. That is
one of the that is just something that I uploaded from some graphic program.
Well, I'm just saying, normally though, that when the person moves, you can the pixelations or whatever does.
Yeah,
that's pretty good. You're looking like maybe on TV or something.
Well, let me tell you this. This is no green screen.
I'm feeling a little underdressed.
That's no green screen behind me. It's just the way this video platform does a great job with that stuff. So
you'll have to share that with me.
Okay, I will. I didn't want you to see my hotel room with the bed down on the all messed up and all the things that you do when you're on the road. Little red, white, and blue there, huh?
You didn't pick up a couple of Cubans last night or anything? Cigars. Cigars. Yeah, I'm waving my red, white, and blue flag.
I was
very, very cool.
I was cussing at Chicago traffic half the time I was driving. So just Chicagoland driving at times just gets under my nerves. So
Brian talking about my yesterday, someone just noticed, I guess, that there's a guitar here in the studio. It's a Fender electric guitar, nothing special, but it's signed by AC/DC, baby. It's that thing's like 14 years. I mean, I've had it for like 14 years, but I was playing air guitar once. How do you not?
Right.
And bang, bing. I think that is it the A string on the bottom, the real high pitched one?
D string on the bottom.
D string. Okay. Well, anyway, it went because that thing went. So I need to get I swore that I would leave it alone from now on, but I still do not have a string.
It's probably worthwhile.
So feel free to send me a string. Anybody who I don't know how to play the guitar. I'll be the first one to tell you, but I like it. I like that. So what's new with you, man? We've got first day of football in the books. We were down at Big Ten Football Media Days last week. We had Kurt Cignetti on the show. That was pretty well. It went pretty good. And he did what he does when he got up there. He certainly did not do a Deshaun Foster.
No.
Man, that just all that did was, I've got this path to 6-0 for Indiana in my head, which God, I hate it because I'm like, all right, I don't want to sound like some homer. I'm not, but I keep looking at that. But here's the thing. It doesn't matter. We're talking basketball, football, yada, yada. There's always upsets, people. It just happens. And even though that path to 6-0, there's not a game they should lose on that schedule right there. I will be bold and say it. There's not a game, and this is before they've taken a snap, in my opinion, but there's not a game they should lose, especially after I saw Deshaun Foster just have a mental meltdown up there. And I'm like, okay, UCLA is just going to be good. It's going to be like a different nationality fire drill. How about that for PC? I'm just saying Irish fire drill since I'm wearing an Ireland t-shirt. But he went and Coach Cignetti, his response to that was, I'm not biting. I'm not biting on that.
Yeah.
Which is just kind of funny. But that's because, Shannon, I've learned one thing. I've maybe learned two, but no, seriously. That one game at a time mentality, I know that's a cliche, but that has been ingrained into these guys, because when we met with each and every one of the guys that were up there, Aiden Fisher,
Ellison,
Justice Ellison, and oh gosh, dang it, I'm drawing a blank, but
Caddick.
Oh, Mike, they all had the same thing, one game at a time attitude, except for Mike Caddick is older. He's been around. He's like a 14th year senior. Been around for a while, former ballerina, former ice skater. He's a unique cat, man. But one game at a time. Nobody talked about anything except for Florida International. It was like they had a mandate as they were driving up to Indy. Nobody talks about any team other than Florida International, because that's how it was. And then yesterday, listening to Coach Cignetti, we've got to get better every day, every play in, play out, day in, day out, game in, game out. And it is a process. I mean, he has a process, and that's exactly what he is following.
Yeah, I mean, Sig being the coach that he is, and the number of years he's been a head coach, he understands how to approach everything, especially with this team and the mentality that he wants. And I think he addressed that during the first presser after that first practice. When you're running around in your underwear that first practice, the really what you're doing out there is getting everybody acclimated to the style of the practice and what is expected on the practice field each and every day, no matter what type of day it is. And you got all these new kids coming in that are whether they're transfers or incoming freshmen that are just now learning the system of practice and such. And he talked about it yesterday, what he wants out of a practice, and they get it established. And his focus is always the next day. It really isn't looking backward. It's not even looking too far forward. It's the next day. And I'm sure today will be, a day that picks up a little bit more. And but until they get to the point where they get the pads on and really can start evaluating some of these kids, we're just kind of waiting to see what all transpires between now and that time. They need some depth help. They got to find some help even up on the offensive line. I think he alluded to some of that yesterday. And then on the defensive side of the ball. And so there's a possibility that some of these newcomers could see opportunities to step into a role.
Yeah, I mean, and that's another thing that I do believe about Kurt Cignetti. I've heard him say the words, "We believe in competition." And Tom Allen would always say, "Iron sharpens iron" a lot, but I didn't really feel like they were pushing guys against each other. And I don't mean, fighting.
Right.
I mean, competing. I just didn't have that feeling, where under Cignetti, I have that very feeling. I have the very feeling, if you want to see the field, hey, here's where you earn that spot. And I'm not saying that there wasn't some of that, but you can tell it's different. For one, there's a reason why he's won as much as he has. He has not had. I had to do a piece for Rivals National yesterday, and does Kurt Cignetti have Indiana recruiting headed in the right direction? Well, if you look at the class, if you just looked at the class, and you would just say, not really. It's Rivals.com ranks him as the 40th highest class in the country. They are behind 11 other Big Ten schools, but they're in front of programs like UCLA, Iowa, and a few others. And I'm like, this is not really his class. he's not going to make his bread and butter on this class because he doesn't have anything to show these kids yet. There's one 4-star on there that Indiana has never landed a 5-star, but it's going to take a season for that to change. So how much change he can do in the 2025 class, again, I'm not sure. I think he'll do most of his damage in the transfer portal after they have a successful season and show like, oh man, they're for real there. That's really happening. But the sheer fact that they were able to get Juju Lewis on campus for a visit, the number 1 ranked quarterback in the country.
Yeah.
I said the answer to that question is yes, automatically. I said, because Tino Sunseri and Kurt Cignetti have done something that in 130 years, 37 years of Indiana football, that ain't never happened.
Right.
And in however many 100-something years of Indiana basketball, it still never happened. And that's a 5-time national champion. So my answer ultimately was yes, but it's because of what he's already brought in, the success that they're going to have. And so, yeah, I think recruiting is in the right direction. Now, I bring up Juju Lewis, and that's still it's probably a long shot, but Indiana's on the board, you know.
Mm-hmm. Well, until the kid makes a decision, they're going to still recruit him unless they know something outwardly that's preventing that from coming to fruition. I do not believe he's no longer a USC commit in some respects, but again, you're trying to read the tea leaves sometimes with these kids, and it doesn't always project the way you thought it was going to be, but we'll wait and see. But yeah, I believe what you just said there, that this class of incoming freshmen, true freshmen, is a class that was haphazardly, and I don't mean that in a negative way, put together because of how late he got on campus. And in today's world, that 25, this class would have been put together well before last season. And we're seeing that right now with the number of commitments he's got for his next class. I think the biggest thing for Indiana is being able to keep the talent there with the transfer portal and a instant gratification world we live in. Kids don't want to hear they're going to be redshirted. They don't want to hear that. They want to hear, how can I get on the field and how can I be utilized? If it's not going to be here, I'm going to go somewhere else. And that's the hard part in today's football world, because, in my days, you would talk to kids about, hey, we don't think you're ready yet. We're going to redshirt you. You'll get an extra year of eligibility. Doesn't mean you have to take it, so forth and so on. I don't know if those conversations are the right conversations to have in a world where your kid can up and leave. I mean, you could theoretically leave now. A kid could leave camp now, go to another institution, and I believe be eligible to play this year, even though he started camp at Indiana. I think we've seen that happen in some respects in years past. But, yeah, I do believe he's on the right track. We're going to find out real quick with some of these kids, freshman-wise, and who's going to be able to be utilized this year. I think he's going to have to evaluate the quarterback room to make sure he's on top of things there, because you're really thin when it comes to just really having 4 guys. So Alberto Mendoza, we get to say that name now.
Alberto Mendoza now into the game for the Indiana Hoosiers at quarterback, number 12, Alberto Mendoza.
I saw a picture of Tyler Cherry the other day, and I compared it to his senior year picture, some of the, stuff you find on Instagram, and to where he's at.
2 years old, 2 years.
Well, he is, I bet you he's added at least 15 to 20 pounds.
And that's all muscle.
It's all muscle. That just tells you how good this staff is in terms of the strength staff and how they can get a kid that is motivated, like Tyler Cherry is, to get in the weight room and start putting on the necessary weight, good weight, to be a Big Ten football player. So I think that says a lot of things about that weight room when you can take a kid like that and start filling him out and get a good looking kid that's going to be throwing the ball around at some point. So I'm interested to get to all that. We're going to get an idea with all this until they get the pads on and such. But Sig did not disappoint at media days. I think he said what he needed to say. I don't think he was happy about being picked second to last. But all the talk's over. We talked about this last week, Jim. Is the talk's done? It's now time to put things that you've been talking about into motion and providing the W's that, like you said, are the possibility. And they're going to have a tough first game. This FIU team does have talent. I'm not going to say they're the second coming, but they're a type of team.
3 touchdowns.
Well, I'm going to tell you right now, these are the type of games that, like a coach like Kurt Cignetti, first game against
they're the hardest
FIU team.
They're the hardest.
He's going to be wound really tight in that regard because it's time to start producing.
Well, the thing is not making mistakes. That first game, not making mistakes, stupid mistakes, offsides, motion penalties, just dumb holding on the backside of a play, just things that drive a coach insane. Don't do the dumb stuff. But let's hear from Coach Cignetti from yesterday. And that's part of what he talks about. And if you think that I'm telling you, he is formulaic. He is precision geared, oriented. But just listen to he throws out stats like boom, boom, boom. That's all that stuff is in his head. This is all the type of things he pays attention to. And that's what you have to do to make sure your details, the I's are dotted and the T's are crossed.
See anything just in general else that you want to see in terms of retention level from what you taught in the spring to today, and what did you see in that regard?
Well, I think we want to get these guys playing football like the way we want them to play. We have a certain style: fast, physical, relentless, smart, disciplined, poised. Always been the least penalized team in the league, number 1 in turnover ratio, and very highly ranked in some key statistical categories, which lead to success. And kind of develop that relentless mindset and resilient where you're not affected by the circumstances of practice or a game, by a good play or a bad play, or you're down 14 points. In the second quarter, you're not affected, or up 14 points. It's like our first conference game at JMU. We went to the Sun Belt. We play App Year. They beat A&M about a week or two later. They're perennial champs. We're down 28-3 down there. Nobody flinched. Came away with a win. 2-3 weeks later, happened again. So it's kind of a mindset and an identity, those intangibles that we want to develop in camp as well.
It's Coach Kurt Cignetti, Indiana football, talking yesterday after day one. But you hear that this is a day in, day out process. He threw out the high turnover ratio, meaning they don't turn the ball over a lot and they take the ball away a lot. Least penalized team. That is of uber importance, people. How many times do you watch an offensive drive that is great, gets killed by a stupid, movement penalty or whatever, offsides or a motion call? Those little things, you have to be almost perfect in those drives. But you have to overcome some things, but you still need to be darn near perfect.
Yeah, I mean, I believe his philosophy with the penalties is if a kid gets an aggressive penalty, he's going full speed and it happens, it happens. What he doesn't like to see is what you said. The backside of a backside play, and you're getting flagged for holding because you're lazy, or you jump off sides because you didn't, watch the ball and things of that matter. Those are the ones that drive him nuts. But you can tell that, I call his Sigisms, fastest, be where your feet are.
And he says them so fast. Tom Allen, it took me forever to figure out what LEO was. At first we all thought he was saying tally ho, and finally he had to slow it down and say, Okay. Yeah, Fast, Physical, Relentless, and there was another one that came right after that, and I didn't write.
Yeah, well, be where your feet are. Forget the last play. Play the next play. I mean, he's all about that from the mentality standpoint of getting kids to think that way. He's getting, and that's going to be the challenge with a team that has not had success. And this is where the JMU kids come into play, is how do they teach that mentality? What does that mentality look like? And some of these kids that have come from these championship backgrounds and programs are going to have to integrate that into these kids that are coming back from Indiana, because they got a sour taste in their mouth. So I think it's going to be, that's going to be the critical thing going through camp.
Absolutely. Coach Shannon Griffith joining us here on the program. Appreciate you, my friend.
You too, buddy. See ya.
We've got a lot. Absolutely. Hey, we've got more coming up. Maybe the best. We're saving the best for next, man. Of course. Coming up next, straight from the green room, Bob Kravitz from BobKravitz.com. Right after this.
This segment is brought to you by Freethink Apparel. If you're looking for a home in the Indianapolis area, you need Cheryl Sizemore from RE/MAX Advanced Realty. Cheryl Sizemore has over 2 decades of experience, and that could be the difference in you getting the home you want in today's tough housing market. Reach out to Cheryl Sizemore from RE/MAX Advanced Realty at Cheryl@IndyHomePros.com or 317-298-0961. Cheryl Sizemore from RE/MAX Advanced Realty. Let Cheryl Sizemore get you in the home you want today. Cheryl@IndyHomePros.com. Whether it's a night out with the family, after work with colleagues, or catching the game with friends, Bubba's 33 is the place for you. Bubba's 33 offers a mouthwatering menu of selections that are all made from scratch every day. The portions are big, but the prices are small. And with over 50 big screen TVs, you'll never miss the big game. Bubba's 33. Pizza, burgers, beer. Country living is just a swing away. It can be hard to find the exact home that fits your family's needs, so there couldn't be a better time to build a new home with Property Shore Construction. Now building exclusively south of Bloomington within the Stonecrest Golf community. Choose from one of the gorgeous Stonecrest Signature Series house plans. We have several lots available with scenic views of the golf course. Contact Amy Rhoda with Revesco Real Estate for additional information. 812-583-0919 or go to mystonecrestliving.com. That's mystonecrestliving.com for more details. Know a team or group needing a fundraiser? Boost Fundraising raises more money faster and offers the most unique and user-friendly online fundraiser in the nation. Your team receives personalized fundraising pages for each team member. Free team-branded promo gifts shipped to each donor. Boost Fundraising does it all. Sports teams, marching bands, charity causes, and community groups. Go to boostfundraising.com and be sure to enter the promo code COYLE, that's COYLE, to receive a discounted fundraiser. Looking for someone to cater your next corporate event, family reunion, or tailgate? To some, a garnish may be nothing more than just a decoration put last on a plate. But in Bloomington, catering starts with Garnish Catering. Serving all of Bloomington and surrounding areas, Garnish Catering is waiting to help make your next event one to remember. Planning a great event shouldn't have to be stressful. Whether we quote you just for catering or a total event package, you can trust that you're making the right choice with Garnish Catering. Visit garnishcatering.com. That's garnishcatering.com. Garnish Catering is a proud partner of WOW Food Group. In the market for a new or used vehicle? Well, nobody beats the prices and selection of Andy Moore Honda in Bloomington. Right now, get a brand new Honda with no payments for 90 days. That's right, 2023 and 2024 Honda Pilots, HRVs, CRVs, Honda Ridgelines, payment-free for 90 days. Or get 0.9% APR financing for 36 months on a 2023 Honda Ridgeline. Go to AndyMooreHonda.com and get more to your door. This segment is brought to you by Freethink Apparel.
Welcome back. Thursday here at Indiana Sports Beat Radio. Joined by the free thinker, Bob Kravitz from BobKravitz.com. You should be a subscriber. I had just recently re-upped my subscription. I'm still weighing my options to see if they can get a different lead writer. I'm just kidding.
Well, we'll see what we can do about that.
Do you know anybody there?
No, it's all me, baby. You're
I'm
stuck
kidding,
with me.
brother. I'm kidding,
I
bro.
appreciate you subscribing.
Oh, absolutely. Is it? While being completely on your own, which I know is differences, good and bad, but the freedom the freedom just outweighs. There's a lot of other heavy stuff that comes with it. Trust me, I know. 14-hour days on the norm tell me that, but the freedom of being on your own is it's got to be so much better than some of the recent places you had to deal with.
Well, yeah. I mean, look, the old paycheck was nice at the previous places. The paycheck isn't quite as good now, but I woke up this morning. I'm going to do something. I'm going to do something on A.D. Mitchell, the wide receiver for the Colts. I'm going to write that as soon as we get off the air here. But, I looked at a video this morning of an Algerian boxer who's transgender, who beat the hell out of a woman from Italy, and she quit. She got tired of getting punched in the face.
I thought the Olympics had this stuff covered.
Well, apparently, I have to do more research, Jim, but the IOC overruled somebody else. And the IOC said that the transgender boxer, I think there are actually two of them from two different countries, could compete. And an Italian woman who has trained her entire life for this moment basically lasted 48 seconds and quit because she was tired of getting punched. Said she was getting punched harder than she's ever been punched in her life and knew she was just going to get annihilated. So she threw up the white flag.
It's dangerous.
It is dangerous. And I've had this conversation with my lovely daughter, who is far more progressive than I am. I just have a real problem with it. I do on a very visceral level. I think.
Curious as to what your daughter's thoughts
problem
were.
with transgender. I mean,
right? Oh, no, I get that. Me too.
Yeah, be who you are. Live your truth. God bless you. But I just, unless somebody who's really smart can explain to me or can justify for me why transgender athletes are allowed to compete with women, I'm not going to change my mind on this. Again, if there's a really good, compelling argument for it that I'm not understanding from a biological point of view, then I'll certainly listen. But I stand with the Italian boxer. There's no reason for her to go in there and get her face beat in by someone who's not biologically a woman. And I think this is going to blow up and become a huge story. And it's something that I think I need to address at some point very soon here.
Well, you can count me as in your corner because we've talked about it before. I couldn't care less about anything. I've become so much more like I don't have time to care about so much crap.
Right.
But it is, I can't stand things that just are so obvious that it makes no sense to me how this is not painfully obvious to every person in the room, in the world. And this is one of those issues. There is no discussion. It's no discussion. You are a man or a woman physically if you have gone through puberty as a male. Now, I know you can do things to blunt it some, but you're not blunting it all. And the competitors you're going against that are just pure female, they don't have anything to blunt. It's just their sheer will. And anybody that, if they want to compete, go get in a mixed martial arts or mixed deal or something. But no, it's somebody. Sorry about this, but someone needs to have a set of cojones and do the right thing.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. And you usually, you know me a little bit. Usually,
You
I
never agree.
tend, I tend, we never agree, and I tend to be more progressive than you. Maybe if you want to say woke, I guess I am. But and I've got people of different gender identifications in my family. I love them, to death, but gosh, I just have a real problem with this. This poor woman has trained and trained and trained for this moment of Olympic glory, and she's out there with a woman who, is biologically a man. And again, if somebody can make the argument that it's a level playing field by virtue of the efforts that this woman has taken to blunt her maleness, I'll listen. But based on the information that I have and watching that video, it just viscerally pissed me off. It just seems so wrong to me. So I think that's something I need to address here very shortly.
And the fact is, it's probably so one person probably had the ability to overrule whatever. And it's
The
I would be
IOC.
curious as to how many people actually said, this is what you should do. Yes, this is right. You should allow her to compete or him to compete.
Well, the IOC did. Originally, she was not allowed to fight. I don't know if it was at the World Championships but a lower level court, if you will, said that she could not. And there's two of them in this tournament, from what I understand. And the IOC, in their infinite wisdom, overruled and said that she could fight in this tournament. And again, I it just boggles my mind. I don't see it. I think clearly. I have to have a conversation with my progressive daughter, who's going to explain it all to me, and I'm going to say, "Nah, I disagree with you. I don't think that's quite right." But yeah, it doesn't taste right. It just doesn't look right.
I like this comment by Brian. He said that biological women are too logical to fight men.
Yeah, well, I mean, I watched the 48-second fight, and every time the Italian woman got hit, she looked like she was hit by a bag of bricks. And she kept going to her corner and saying, "Nuh-uh, this ain't gonna happen. I'm walking out of here with the face I came in with."
Yeah, it's
You knew we were going to talk about this today, didn't you, Jim?
Absolutely. And I'm just getting ready to say, all right, we've wasted enough time. It's not wasted enough time, actually,
No,
because
it's interesting.
that's one of the few things I try to be as apolitical on here as possible. But this is one of the few things I've talked about before. It's just there's no way that women are okay with this.
No.
And you have to, I don't care if you're a female basketball player or a softball player or golfer, it doesn't matter. You have to be as one against this. And the sheer fact that a certain group, whether it's the
LGBTQ plus,
yes, always seem to be so supportive of this, with nothing to back it up other than it's because they want it, that they are or owed it, or I don't know.
I don't know either. I just, again, I have problems with it, and I feel terrible for this Italian woman who trained her entire life for this moment, and she gets out there and she's fighting somebody who is in many ways biologically a guy. It's simply not fair, and I think this story is going to blow the hell up very quickly here. I'll be curious to see how NBC handles this whole thing. I'll be curious to watch tonight.
Yeah, we ironically, you obviously, since you weren't with us early on when the show opened, I was talking about last night. I was watching what I thought was female gymnastics. A Chinese athlete was on the floor with the short bob haircut. So, a lot of them have that. It's a style, and men or women. So that's, goes back transcendent. But it was because of the outfit this person was wearing. I thought it was a woman. And turns out it wasn't. It was but the thing that to me that made it funny is Mr. Hoshimoto, Daiki Hoshimoto, was the athlete, and the announcers were just talking about Daiki, and I'm like, I found it humorous, and now it goes right along with this silly content.
I'll let you crawl out of that hole.
You always say that. I knew it. You never throw a rope, man. Anything, nothing.
No, you're on your own, buddy.
Hey, NFL underway tonight with the Hall of Fame game. The Texans and the Bears kind of underway, as I said earlier. You'll see maybe one, two series with the big guys before all the guys that are trying to make the team come in.
Yeah, I would assume so. I would think that they'd get Caleb Williams out there for a couple of possessions. I would assume that CJ Stroud might play a couple of possessions, but it's freaking early August. It's basically you get so little out of these games. You really do. The preseason games are a relic of the past. We don't need them. We have all these arranged practices where they go against, like the Colts this year will go against the Arizona Cardinals in a couple of practices up at Grand Park. To me, preseason with the smaller roster sizes is really, like I say, a relic of the past.
What's up next for you, brother? I know that you've been doing a lot of Colt stuff. We talked about that at the top. Anthony Richardson, of course, the key, keeping him healthy this year. It starts and ends right there for the Colts. But, this is a season where the expectations are not too outside of the box, but still within reason of winning, of having a winning year, of competing for a division title.
Well, I think they're going to be at least a 10-win team. I mean, they won 9 games last year with smoke and mirrors, and with Shane Steichen, who I thought had a fabulous year. To go 9-8 in that division, but any division, when Gardner Minshew is playing 13 plus games. No, I think they're going to be fine. Losing Samson Ebukam, their leading sacker from last year, is going to be very hurtful, clearly. But it gives an opportunity to Kwity Paye and to Leatu Latu, who, by the way, has looked really, really good the few times I've seen him at camp. But you asked me what I'm doing. I had a nice conversation with A.D. Mitchell, who the Colts hope becomes their second wide receiver and displaces the kid from Cincinnati. Okay. Pierce.
Isn't that a movie? The Kid from Cincinnati? Or
the Cincinnati Kid.
Cincinnati Kid. Who was in that? Forgot about that.
I have absolutely no clue.
It's a famous movie.
It is.
Cincinnati Kid. Man, it wasn't Steve McQueen, was it?
That sounds like it could be. It sounds like it could be. It doesn't mean it is. Did somebody check?
I'm taking credit, but you know what? It won't take me long to find out, because all you got to do is ATI Kid. It'll figure it out. Cincinnati Kid, yes, baby, Steve McQueen.
I'll be damned. That's a pretty good get right there.
Especially for me, but not just Steve McQueen. Edward G. Robinson. All right, you dirty rat. And Margaret. Colonel Malden.
We went to the same high school in Chicago, actually.
Joe Blundell. Are you kidding me?
No, New Trier West High School in Chicago.
Dude, she was a hottie in those grumpier old men movies.
Oh, she was. Oh Lord, she was an icon.
That sounds like you, Bob Kravitz. An icon.
We dated in high school. You know, we're really tight.
That's awesome. That's a story for next time, brother.
I'm just kidding.
No, I'm serious. That's just cool.
Yeah.
But appreciate you as always. Make sure you're a subscriber to bobkravitz.com. Stay up with what is going on in Indiana sports, Colts, Pacers, Hoosiers, Boilers. We've got it all. Joining us next, speaking of Boilers, Travis Miller from Boiler Upload. We'll be back with all of that and more right after this.
This segment is brought to you by Hoosier Hanks East.
If you're looking for a home in the Indianapolis area, you need Cheryl Sizemore from RE/MAX Advanced Realty. Cheryl Sizemore has over 2 decades of experience, and that could be the difference in you getting the home you want in today's tough housing market. Reach out to Cheryl Sizemore from RE/MAX Advanced Realty at cheryl@indiehomepros.com or 317-298-0961. Cheryl Sizemore from RE/MAX Advanced Realty. Let Cheryl Sizemore get you in the home you want today. Cheryl@indiehomepros.com. Whether it's a night out with the family, after work with colleagues, or catching the game with friends, Bubba's 33 is the place for you. Bubba's 33 offers a mouthwatering menu of selections that are all made from scratch every day. The portions are big, but the prices are small. And with over 50 big screen TVs, you'll never miss the big game. Bubba's 33, pizza, burgers, beer.
Country living is just a swing away. It can be hard to find the exact home that fits your family's needs, so there couldn't be a better time to build a new home with Property Shore Construction. Now building exclusively south of Bloomington within the Stonecrest Golf community. Choose from one of the gorgeous Stonecrest Signature Series house plans. We have several lots available with scenic views of the golf course. Contact Amy Rhoda with Revesco Real Estate for additional information. 812-583-0919 or go to mystonecrestliving.com. That's mystonecrestliving.com for more details.
Know a team or group needing a fundraiser? Boost Fundraising raises more money faster and offers the most unique and user-friendly online fundraiser in the nation. Your team receives personalized fundraising pages for each team member. Free team-branded promo gifts shipped to each donor. Boost Fundraising does it all. Sports teams, marching bands, charity causes, and community groups. Go to boostfundraising.com and be sure to enter the promo code COYLE, that's COYLE, to receive a discounted fundraiser.
Looking for someone to cater your next corporate event, family reunion, or tailgate? To some, a garnish may be nothing more than just a decoration put last on a plate. But in Bloomington, catering starts with Garnish Catering. Serving all of Bloomington and surrounding areas, Garnish Catering is waiting to help make your next event one to remember. Planning a great event shouldn't have to be stressful. Whether we quote you just for catering or a total event package, you can trust that you're making the right choice with Garnish Catering. Visit garnishcatering.com. That's garnishcatering.com. Garnish Catering is a proud partner of WOW Food Group.
In the market for a new or used vehicle? Well, nobody beats the prices and selection of Andy Moore Honda in Bloomington. Right now, get a brand new Honda with no payments for 90 days. That's right, 2023 and 2024 Honda Pilots, HRVs, CRVs, Honda Ridgelines, payment-free for 90 days. Or get 0.9% APR financing for 36 months on a 2023 Honda Ridgeline. Go to AndyMooreHonda.com and get more to your door.
This segment is brought to you by the Fresh Fork in Bloomington.
And Travis, yesterday, the Big Ten released the date or the sites for both the Big Ten men's and women's basketball tournaments up through 2028. Not as much change as I would have thought. Indianapolis still getting a hefty dose, which both of us love to see that. For I don't know why, just for pure selfish reasons. But I think the men go Indy, Chicago, Indy, then to Vegas. Over the next 4 years. The women, however, go Indy, Chicago, Detroit, Las Vegas.
I think that's the way they have it. Yeah.
So, they threw one in there for the women that's different than the men. But Indies gets 2 out of the next 3, which is cool. And then the return to Chicago, which we were there last year, was in Chicago, I believe. Not this past season.
It was Minnesota this last year.
Yeah, the season before that, I believe.
Yeah,
you shall never speak of Minnesota, of having it in Minnesota again. That's never going to happen again. They may hold this thing in the La Brea Tar Pits, but they will not hold it in Minnesota again. And it's not because it wasn't attended by fans up there. What else do they have to do? Just kidding. I'm only kidding, peeps. Relax. But I'm glad to see it's going to be an Indy. Indianapolis is the place. I'm sorry. It just is. Indianapolis is just the best host city. Las Vegas is cool, but that is so freaking hard to get around. That might be the hardest town to get around in. Harder than New York. Hell, New York, you just walk out and throw your hand up, give them the address. Boom. Las Vegas, if you want to try to walk, you gotta navigate these walkovers deals at every corner. It's the only way you can get anywhere. It's Vegas is fun, but I guess the people will like it. Isn't it amazing? It's amazing to me how maybe up to 10 years ago, Vegas was still a naughty for sports. Now they've got it all. Football, hockey. They've got the A's coming. You've got the NCAA tournaments now. Big Ten tournament coming, which I always thought that was dumb. It's like, oh yeah, like because it's in Vegas, you think that's the only place gambling could touch something. But I'm pretty happy with the site release. What do you think?
I'm in favor of it. I think it should always be an Indy. The West Coast schools knew what they were getting into. If they want to complain about it, they should have stayed on the West Coast. I mean, too bad. I'm all for hazing them, really. But at least it's not New York and the world's most overrated arena again.
I hear that. Wait a minute. Now, I like going to New York. I'm not going to lie.
The city's great. I'm just tired.
I like Madison Square Garden.
I'm tired of hearing about how Madison Square Garden is this magical venue that is supposed to be.
Well, it is because of what's happened. It's because of its history, man. You have to envelop the history.
Yeah, the history of a losing basketball team and a losing hockey team. That's fantastic.
Oh, I'm talking about Marilyn Monroe singing "Happy Birthday, Mr. President," and all the great Muhammad Ali, Joe Frazier boxing events that went on there, all the Willis Reed and the Knicks. There's more history in that building. The thing is, you have to walk around the concourse. 4 or 5 years ago when the Big Ten tournament was there, I remember doing the show there from there. And I had this time and I'm walking around. I was the only person there. It was in the morning. And so I'm walking around the concourse and they have all these pictures like most arenas do. And that's when it sunk into me. Oh my God, this is where Marilyn Monroe sang "Happy Birthday, Mr. President." This is where Muhammad Ali, "Down goes Frazier." I don't know if it was that match or not, but Sarah, "Down goes Frazier." Howard Cosell called some. Just the history is awesome. That's why, I wrap myself in that.
I think it is one of those very few places you have left in sports where you've got some history in a building like that. But for basketball, whoop-de-doo. You have the losing Knicks and everything, but you've got Madison Square Garden, you've got Wrigley Field and Fenway, you've got the Rose Bowl, probably Lambeau Field, maybe Soldier Field for football, but that's really it that's left in terms of places that have been around forever and have all that iconic history and everything. I know this summer I went to the new Yankee Stadium and it paled in comparison to the old Yankee Stadium. I thought it was bland. I thought it was very weak. The most intriguing part of that stadium is the room that they have dedicated to the old Yankee Stadium with all the memorabilia and everything. I mean, they've got bats from Babe Ruth in there, bats from Lou Gehrig, just it was fantastic, but the new one just no character whatsoever. And
but see, that's something that I remember hearing immediately upon the construction of that, that it had lost that whatever it had. I haven't been there, but I understand what you're talking about, because that was something that, but at least they have that gigantic Louisville Slugger out front that you see on all the Seinfeld episodes.
yeah, it's not there anymore, the new one.
Oh, why?
Because they're the Yankees and they think that that's enough. And
What do you do with a 50-foot tall Louisville Slugger?
I have no idea.
Where do you store a 50-foot Louisville Slugger baseball bat?
I have no idea, but it just pales in comparison. And I know 2 days after I was at Yankee Stadium, I made my second ever visit to Fenway, and that is a place also you walk around and you feel the history. We did after we went to a game there the next day, we did a tour of the ballpark, and it was worth it. You got to sit on top of the Green Monster because they take you out to the monster seats and they talk about how expensive they are. They're like the most exclusive ticket in baseball. You get to, see the Ted Williams seat where the farthest home run was hit. And just, it's an iconic place. I love it. And I want more places preserved like that. I guess that's why I love Mackey Arena. And if they ever tried to tear it down, I would be upset because, Mackey Arena is how basketball is supposed to be watched. You don't have any luxury boxes. You don't have the seats right next to the bench or any of this. You don't have all the fake music going on. You're there to watch basketball, and it becomes a dungeon of noise, and people don't, the opposing teams wilt when they're there. That to me is the atmosphere that you want in your arena or stadium. And there's so few places like that anymore.
Now I'm going to have to, did you walk around the stadium?
At Fenway?
No, in New York.
Yeah, we did a lap of it and everything. Again, just no character. Nothing. According to my source, Google me, Kurt Cignetti. The bat, it was dismantled during the demolition of the legendary stadium and reinstalled at the entrance of the current new stadium. More than just a simple sculpture, this bat has become an iconic meeting point for fans where they easily find their ticket-holding friends before entering the stadium. Let's see. Outside of the main gate of the stadium stands a majestic monument, a 42-meter, 138-foot tall chimney sculpted in the shape of a baseball bat. Sponsored by Louisville Slugger, this impressive work is often referred to as the Louisville Slugger, specifically designed to evoke the model of Babe Ruth. The chimney was installed in 1975 to provide heat for the offices of the famous Yankee team for the first time. So I just learned something. We
must have missed it. It was a chimney.
We went in a different entrance because I don't remember.
But it's a chimney.
I didn't know that.
So there's something for you. Wow. Now I will say that I remember when they opened up, they moved. Louisville Slugger had moved over to Clarksville, Indiana, for a number of years, and the Louisville Sluggers were being made in Clarksville, Indiana, for a number of years. And finally, Louisville Slugger says, "All right, we've got to be in Louisville. This is stupid." But so they moved back over downtown. Very cool. Made a museum, and they had this bat made kind of like that. And think about even big cities, but downtown streets. This bat is big. And it didn't come dismantled. It came in one piece. And I remember them, trying to get down there and navigate those streets when they were setting that thing up. They have a restaurant called Top of the Bat. Just kidding. There's no restaurant at the Top of the Bat, or they could call it the Bat Handle.
That's a good museum to go through too. It's a very good tour.
Awesome.
I love it.
Quickly, but we'll get into some Big Ten stuff. But I used to work in media down in Louisville, and when I was a intern, we were there during the All-Star, before the All-Star game. Louisville Slugger was making the All-Star game bats. And a friend of mine who was an intern with me, he's out in LA now, John Hartung, noticed they had switched by accidents Roberto Alomar Jr. and Sandy Alomar's teams.
Ooh.
And he caught it. And so they had to remake those, but he got one of those bats with, the wrong. And I'm like, dumb me. I took a replica of Babe Ruth's last bat.
Oh, you got to take the exotic one, the misprint. That's worth some money.
I understand. I knew that they didn't want to, and I hate pushing people for like stuff like that. He felt. I was just grateful to have, but I'm happy with the sites. Big Ten football practice underway. We heard from Coach Kurt Cignetti earlier. What's the word out of West Lafayette for Purdue football? Both of these teams picked right by each other. Last for Purdue, next to last for Indiana. I'm not following Purdue quite as closely yet. I know that they're under second-year coach Ryan Walters, and people are expecting an improvement there. But because of their schedule, even if they improve, I don't see Purdue going to a bowl game. And I'm not dissing Purdue. It's their freaking schedule, man. It's a backbreaker. They have two non-con games. One's against Notre Dame at home, and the other one is on the road in Oregon against Oregon State. And that is the only reason I think that. Indiana, I think that Kurt Cignetti is going to end up being coach of the year because he's just going to shock some people so much with them being picked that low. He's going to take a team that was 1-8 last year, and because of their schedule as well, I think there's going to be a massive improvement. But Purdue needs, with all of the, I don't want to call it negative feeling, but the lack of confidence from outsiders. What's the word on inside Purdue camp?
I honestly think that they're taking it in stride. They know that they have to go out and perform. I talked to Gus Hartwig on the offensive line at media days, and he's aware of it. The offensive line's kind of taking it personally, and I tend to agree with him because I think that the offensive line is actually going to be a big strength for Purdue. They've got 3 starters back from last year. They've got multiple guys with starting experience that came in with the portal. I think there's a lot of depth there. And when you have experience plus depth along the offensive line, that can paste over a lot of issues that teams have. You keep Hudson Card healthy, you keep him vertical, and this is a team that led the Big Ten in rushing last year in Big Ten games, which is a pretty little known fact there. And I think that they'll be able to generate on the ground.
So Purdue led the Big Ten in rushing last year.
In Big Ten games.
Right. No, yeah. Well, that's a huge thing because there was a ton of defense in the Big Ten last year. Now, I don't remember their schedule. Of the big 3, how many did they play? Well,
they were at Michigan, and they hosted Ohio State.
And Michigan had a very good defense. They won the national championship. Ohio State, also a very, very good defense.
Yeah,
that's an amazing stat.
Huh? Yeah, and
that's an amazing stat.
They had a couple of, I think they had like 3 straight 300-yard rushing games, which is pretty much unheard of at Purdue, especially, from the Joe Tiller era and everything. They would go multiple seasons without 3 300-yard rushing games. So I'm excited for it. I think Devin Mockabee can have a pretty good year. They got Reggie Love the third through the transfer portal, a proven running back out of Illinois.
Oh, Reggie Love, but you just got to stop right there, man. That's what a great name, Reggie Love.
Oh yeah,
that sounds like an Eddie Murphy movie character.
and Hudson Card, Hudson Card, very mobile quarterback. They weren't afraid to have him run last year. I really think that the offense is going to show some improvement, and then the defense, that's Ryan Walters' specialty. And you've got a freshman All-American in the defensive backfield with Dylan Thieneman. He had 6 interceptions last year. That's a good building block. And Kyder Jenkins on the edge and everything else. I think Purdue can surprise some people. The schedule is obviously very, very difficult, But I think if they are to make a step forward and really show some improvement in year number 2 under Walters, they get one of those quote unquote big names. I mean, you've got Notre Dame, Penn State, and Oregon all coming to West Lafayette. I don't think it is possible for them to snag one of those games if you show some improvement. This is a program that has shown in the past that they can pull an upset over a top 10 team, a top 5 team every once in a while. And, you get one of those, especially if you can get, say, Notre Dame earlier in the season, look at what that can do to build some confidence. And I think that's what they're going to do. I think they pull one of them off, one of those 3. I don't know which one, but I think they get one of them.
I would say they almost have to have thoughts of going to a bowl game because of the overall schedule. But yeah, and hopefully so. It would be fun. How much fun would it be to have? We've seen it for a couple of years with Indiana. Their bowl hopes on the line playing in the Old Oaken bucket game, and it's always more fun when there's something on the line.
Mm-hmm.
That could be the case for Purdue this year. They could be close enough, and that could be one of their final opportunities. Again, this is not about being a homer, so people just chill. But with Indiana's schedule, they have a direct path to being 6-0, Travis, and I really believe that more now after. Daggone it. UCLA's Deshaun Foster's Big Ten Media Day lapse, whatever. I don't know what you call it. Mind meltdown or whatever he had. I'm like, wow, he's never been a head coach. He's never even been a coordinator. And he's the head coach at UCLA. And I'm like, whoo, I think Cignetti's going to have something for him. It's also UCLA's second game when Indiana plays and Indiana's third game. So that is also UCLA will have a bye, but it's just going to be a fun Big Ten season. Oregon is expected to be the best of the new teams. As a matter of fact, a lot of people think they're the second best team in the conference right now, maybe in front of Michigan, defending champion Michigan.
Yeah, it's going to be a really good year. I'm curious to see how all the travel is going to play out. The league seemed to do Purdue a favor in that they don't have a road game to one of the 4 West Coast teams, but they do still have to go to Oregon State, so that kind of makes up for it. But then you've got all the West Coast teams coming east. To me, the Oregon game for Purdue is very, very interesting because it comes 6 days just after Oregon hosts Ohio State. And that's going to be a huge game in Eugene. And it's the first time that Oregon has to come east all season long. So I'm not saying that Purdue is going to pull the upset, but it's a short week because it's a Friday night game in West Lafayette. And Oregon has a huge game right before it, plus the travel. That adds a nice little interesting tidbit to that game. And I think it could make things interesting to see how Oregon comes into that game, especially since they will have just played Ohio State.
Absolutely, brother. What's up next for you?
We are doing more coverage this week. We were at practice yesterday for Purdue's opening practice. We had a nice video with Dylan Thieneman. We had a video up with Devin Maccabee, with video up with Ryan Walters. And then we will be covering, Purdue's athletes in the Olympics here. They've got a runner that could win in the 110-meter hurdles in Divine Charlton from the Bahamas.
That's a highlight event there in track, man. I ran that in high school, and it was funny. I ran as 8th grader. I ran hurdles, but that was low hurdles. And then I took a few years off from running track and played baseball instead, and came back to try to run those high hurdles. Woo! That was not fun. That was a big difference, baby. Holy cow. But don't they also have a swimmer or diver?
They do have a couple of divers, in fact, both on the men's and the women's side. So, Purdue's diving program has produced multiple medals in recent years. They've got David Bodaya over there, former gold medalist, as their coach right now. And it'll be interesting to see how they compete and maybe bring home a couple medals in the diving events.
Absolutely. Travis Miller from Boiler Upload for you Boiler fans and those of you that just want to keep track of what's going on up north at West Lafayette, as the football season is a month away from the first game. So that means that we're a month away from that. 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, a little over 4.5 months away from the old Oak and Bucket game.
Yeah.
So we got a lot of time. The great thing about that being at the end is because it's going to be a tale of there's just going to be so much happening this year. Can Washington, they're a completely different team. They played in the national championship game last year. Who are Purdue's West Coast teams that they play?
Only Oregon. Oregon has to come to West Lafayette. Yes.
They don't travel out west?
No,
I know. Oh, is that because they're already going to Oregon State?
That's my guess. Is the Big Ten did them a solid because they
nice
because they already had that non-conference game. So, and I'm sure Oregon State was thankful that it stayed on the non-conference when they were scrambling to do a schedule for this year. So, they don't have to go out to the West Coast. Next year is the first year they have to go out, and I think they're at Washington next year is their first Big Ten West Coast trip.
Indiana heading to UCLA to take on the Bruins. It's going to be a fun year. Travis Miller, thank you, my brother. I appreciate you as always.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
You bet. We appreciate you. Hey, we've got lots more coming up here on Indiana Sports Beat Radio. And Chris Denari of the Indiana Pacers will join us in a little bit. We're back with more right after this.
This segment is brought to you by Bubba's 33 in Clarksville.
In the market for a new or used vehicle? Well, nobody beats the prices and selection of Andy Moore Honda in Bloomington. Right now, get a brand new Honda with no payments for 90 days. That's right, 2023 and 2024 Honda Pilots, HRVs, CRVs, Honda Ridgelines, payment-free for 90 days. Or get 0.9% APR financing for 36 months on a 2023 Honda Ridgeline. Go to AndyMooreHonda.com and get more to your door.
Looking for someone to cater your next corporate event, family reunion, or tailgate? To some, a garnish may be nothing more than just a decoration put last on a plate. But in Bloomington, catering starts with Garnish Catering. Serving all of Bloomington and surrounding areas, Garnish Catering is waiting to help make your next event one to remember. Planning a great event shouldn't have to be stressful. Whether we quote you just for catering or a total event package, you can trust that you're making the right choice with Garnish Catering. Visit garnishcatering.com. That's garnishcatering.com. Garnish Catering is a proud partner of WOW Food Group.
If you're looking for a home in the Indianapolis area, you need Cheryl Sizemore from RE/MAX Advanced Realty. Cheryl Sizemore has over 2 decades of experience, and that could be the difference in you getting the home you want in today's tough housing market. Reach out to Cheryl Sizemore from RE/MAX Advanced Realty at cheryl@indyhomepros.com or 317-298-0961. Cheryl Sizemore from RE/MAX Advanced Realty. Let Cheryl Sizemore get you in the home you want today. Cheryl at indyhomepros.com. Whether it's a night out with the family, after work with colleagues, or catching the game with friends, Bubba's 33 is the place for you. Bubba's 33 offers a mouthwatering menu of selections that are all made from scratch every day. The portions are big, but the prices are small. And with over 50 big screen TVs, you'll never miss the big game. Bubba's 33, pizza, burgers, beer. The Ugly Grouper, located on beautiful Anna Marie Island, Florida, is the place to be, and not just because they have unforgettable meals, including locally sourced seafood. The Ugly Grouper has your favorite craft beers and cocktails, along with live music every day. The Ugly Grouper is family-friendly, able to host private parties, and has the biggest grouper you've ever seen. The Ugly Grouper is the place to be on Anna Marie Island, Florida. Tell them Indiana Sports Beat sent you. Go to theuglygrouper.com for more information.
Country living is just a swing away. It can be hard to find the exact home that fits your family's needs, so there couldn't be a better time to build a new home with Property Shore Construction. Now building exclusively south of Bloomington within the Stonecrest Golf Community. Choose from one of the gorgeous Stonecrest Signature Series house plans. We have several lots available with scenic views of the golf course. Contact Amy Rhoda with Revesco Real Estate for additional information. 812-583-0919 or go to mystonecrestliving.com. That's mystonecrestliving.com for more details. This segment is brought to you by the Fresh Fork in Bloomington.
Welcome back, Indiana Sports Beat Radio on this Thursday. Appreciate you being with us. Been Boyle along to keep you between the white lines. Wave the red, white, and blue flag for those of you following us on YouTube. Appreciate all of our peeps listening, no matter where you are, on 97.7 ESPN, The Ref in Evansville, up in the region, on the voice of the region, 12:30 a.m., 104.7 FM. WJOB, and over in Fort Wayne on Fort Wayne's only sports station, 1380 The Fan. Make sure you stay tuned afterwards for the Sports Rush on The Fan. And Chris Denari will join us in the next segment, as we've had a loaded day already, man. We've got the chat room still talking about the Olympic stuff we were chatting about earlier, but we haven't talked about the new addition to the Indiana basketball roster, which kind of a late addition. He's a 7-footer. He spent 4 years at South Carolina State. I've watched some video on him. He's not inept. He stayed 4 years at a school. First of all, that has just stuck with me. I can't say that I've seen a player mentioned in the last 2 years that has stayed at a school for 4 years. Mind-boggling. That's utterly mind-boggling. I guess he's in South Carolina. It's not like it's a bad place, but yeah, a little surprising. And of course, what a life-altering shot that is for him to go from obscurity, playing in the MEAC, to Indiana, where I'm sure it wasn't very much, but there's no doubt he got a little NIL welcome package. Pretty certain about that. He will get to be a part of a Big Ten program, play on a Big Ten team, compete in the Big Ten. He'll probably see the floor a little bit, not a lot. He's strictly a backup player. I always say, if you have an open scholarship, it's ridiculous with the portal now. Fill it. Go find a one-year guy like he is, Dallas James, and fill it. It's already there. You need it for practice. You never know what's going to happen. Now, I wonder if they should have maybe instead tried to find someone with more shooting ties. Maybe they did and they couldn't. I don't know. But that sure is the thing I think of first. But you got that going for you, which is nice. Hey, I want to remind everybody again, Never Lose Hoop golf outing that is coming up on the 22nd of this month. For those of you that are following on YouTube, you can see the flyer up there right now. It's a Hulls family tradition. Never Lose Hoop golf outing at the Golf Club at Eagle Point. Thursday, August 22nd, 11 a.m. check-in, 12 p.m. shotgun start. $125 scramble. Bring your own foursome. Sign up as an individual. But here's what you get. You get a shot at there's 3 par 3 holes at Eagle Point. On one of them, you get a chance to hit for $10,000. On another one, you get a chance to hit for $5,000. On another one, you get a shot at another $5,000. There will be tons of IU athletes there. Anthony Leal has a team. Goody is playing as well. We're still confirming all these names. Go to events, and for those of you that can't see it, just go to events.golfstatus.com. 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 And you can sign up, register, whatever you need to do. Or if you want to be a sponsor, there's a lot of sponsorships in there. And don't get hung up looking at that stuff. The whole sponsorship is $100. Anybody can do that. We had a couple years ago, we had a ton of listeners be whole sponsors, and love to have you guys do that again. Feel free to do so. We'll get that done. Or if you're a business and there are other things, beverage cart sponsor, I believe it's only $250, man. So somebody out there has got to have the ability to do this. This money goes to the Bloomington Monroe County Foundation and the Never Lose Hoop mission of helping families with kids affected by cancer. There's no better cause in the world, people. Yeah, there's none of this, all this administrative stuff, cost and all that. The money's going in. Anybody like myself that's working with it, everything we're donating our time and everything to that. So the money goes to where it's supposed to go. And afterwards, first of all, you get lunch from Chick-fil-A. Not bad. You get a shirt. Not bad. You will have dinner, sit down dinner afterwards. Really good. There's the presentations and you'll hear JC speak, and yes, he will cry. A couple years ago, I thought I was going to go up and take the mic from him. No kidding. He's an emotional dude, man. Awesome. Great guy. Jordan Hull's dad. And we'll have to get him back on. We'll have to get Jordan on to talk about this event coming up soon as well. Jordan Hull's obviously will be there. And get yourself a team, man. Great photo ops and just a great opportunity to do some good in the community. Let's see. USA basketball with a convincing win last night over the South Sudan. And they continue to roll. Let's see. Did I miss anything I was going to talk about? I think those are the big things before Chris Denari gets on here with us. We're going to go ahead and take our last break. When we come back, Chris Denari will join us. Looking forward to it. As always, he's a fun dude, and we're trying to get him to play as well. So we'll see what we can get done.
This segment is brought to you by Bubba's 33 in Clarksville.
Enjoy healthy, delicious meals at home without the hassle with the Fresh Fork. Chef-curated, ready-made meals delivered right to your doorstep. Proudly fueling IU athletes and now available to you with a menu that's always fresh and diverse, from hearty proteins to fresh salads. The Fresh Fork empowers you to make better food choices without compromising. Let the Fresh Fork help transform your lifestyle for a healthier way of living today at thefreshforkonline.com. Use promo code RADIO20 and get $20 off of your first order.
Country living is just a swing away. It can be hard to find the exact home that fits your family's needs, so there couldn't be a better time to build a new home with Property Shore Construction. Now building exclusively south of Bloomington within the Stonecrest Golf community. Choose from one of the gorgeous Stonecrest Signature Series house plans. We have several lots available with scenic views of the golf course. Contact Amy Rhoda with Revesco Real Estate for additional information. 812-583-0919 or go to mystonecrestliving.com. That's mystonecrestliving.com for more details.
Whether it's a night out with the family, after work with colleagues, or catching the game with friends, Bubba's 33 is the place for you. Bubba's 33 offers a mouth-watering menu of selections that are all made from scratch every day. The portions are big, but the prices are small. And with over 50 big screen TVs, you'll never miss the big game. Bubba's 33, pizza, burgers, beer.
Looking for someone to cater your next corporate event, family reunion, or tailgate? To some, a garnish may be nothing more than just a decoration put last on a plate. But in Bloomington, catering starts with Garnish Catering. Serving all of Bloomington and surrounding areas, Garnish Catering is waiting to help make your next event one to remember. Planning a great event shouldn't have to be stressful. Whether we quote you just for catering or a total event package, you can trust that you're making the right choice with Garnish Catering. Visit garnishcatering.com. That's garnishcatering.com. Garnish Catering is a proud partner of WOW Food Group.
If you're looking for a home in the Indianapolis area, you need Cheryl Sizemore from RE/MAX Advanced Realty. Cheryl Sizemore has over 2 decades of experience, and that could be the difference in you getting the home you want in today's tough housing market. Reach out to Cheryl Sizemore from RE/MAX Advanced Realty at cheryl@indiehomepros.com or 317-298-0961. Cheryl Sizemore from RE/MAX Advanced Realty. Let Cheryl Sizemore get you in the home you want today. Cheryl@indiehomepros.com. In the market for a new or used vehicle? Well, nobody beats the prices and selection of Andy Moore Honda in Bloomington. Right now, get a brand new Honda with no payments for 90 days. That's right, 2023 and 2024 Honda Pilots, HRVs, CRVs, Honda Ridgelines, payment-free for 90 days. Or get 0.9% APR financing for 36 months on a 2023 Honda Ridgeline. Go to AndyMooreHonda.com and get more to your door. Welcome back, Indiana Sports Beat Radio here on this Thursday. Great to have our good friend Chris Denari with us. How are you doing, sir?
Hey, I'm doing great. How are you doing, Jim?
I cannot complain. Nobody wants to listen to it, so why waste anybody's time? How have you been, brother? How's the summer going?
It's been good. So a lot of grandson duties, which is great. In fact, my wife is on her way down to South Carolina to take care of our youngest grandson for my oldest son and his wife.
Is that Pawleys Island? Is that? Am I
they're Myrtle Beach, North Myrtle Beach. And so I've been playing some golf here and there. Feel good, playing pretty well right now. So
playing pretty well right now.
Fortunately, when you're 63, you get to play the white tees, Jim. So, I like that.
I'm already playing the white tees. It's not helping me. Jeez, I'm like, gosh, dang it. When do I get to move up to those stupid yellow tees, man?
Hey, I played in an outing on Friday. It was the Ron Colley High School Athletic Booster Club outing, and a lot of fun. My accountant is tied to that. And so I was down at Sarah Shank down on the south side, down by Indy, and
that doesn't sound like a good name, right?
Yeah, it does. Yeah, you're right. Here's what was funny is it was sort of an odd number. It was if you were 62 and older, you got to play from a different set of tees. And I'm like, wow. I mean, it wasn't 60, it wasn't 65. And so at 63, I was able to move up a set.
Well, you don't look a day over 62, I got to say.
Well, the good news is
he looks 42 if you're not seeing.
Well, here's the thing. I shaved today. I mean, I was pretty white. I mean, I see that beard that you've got going. You and I are both the same. We got the white.
And dude, that was after I just took it down to a nub last night. I was too lazy to shave completely, but yeah, that used to be nice and dark.
Yeah,
and
I tried.
I tried to nice.
I try to not shave as much in the summer because during the season, if you're playing four games a week, you're shaving 4 to 5 days a week. So I'll let it go in the summer. And then like when it gets really white, it sort of looks, and it gets long, it looks like coconut is growing out of your face. So it takes a while to shave. I know everybody's excited about hearing us talk about our shaving and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Well, speaking of golf, I recently was very fortunate to play the Brickyard Crossing. I'd never played that course. That was fun. I didn't realize that course was as nice as it is. It is a straight up Pete Dye course. And then fortunately, I'm very fortunate. Next week, I'll be down at French Lick playing that Pete Dye course.
Oh, that's awesome.
As oh my gosh. The Corn Ferry Tour Championship is being held at French Lick. And so we're going down for Media Day and having that. So we'll be talking about that. That's a huge event. And then, of course, they've got the biggest golf event of all, the Hulls family Never Lose Hoop golf outing coming up in Bloomington on Thursday, August 22nd at Eagle Point. Going to try to get Chris Denari in that. If we can squeeze him in, that would be great. You could do the guest shot and play golf all on the same day. I don't know that Anthony Leal's got a team. Luke Goody is playing in this. Several IU athletes will be there, but it's a fun day. But more importantly, it's a great cause, helping area families with kids affected by cancer. But we would definitely want to, hopefully we can get you out for that.
I'd love to try to do it. If I can make it, I'll look at my calendar and see. You were talking about the Brickyard. I'm going to play there on Monday. So I'm looking forward to that. But it's, there are so many great courses in our state. I've said this, Jim, I played high school golf for a couple of years at Northfield High School up in Wabash County. And then I played at Westfield my final 2 years. and then I played 2 years of D3 golf at Wabash. I'd like to go back and play some of those courses that I played 40 years ago just to see what they're like. There's some courses up in the Marion area, Huntington, Warsaw, those areas that I haven't been back in many, many years. And, it's one of those situations I'd like to go back and just see the course, because some of the courses were literally brand new, back in the late 70s, early 80s. And now that they're 40 years old, they've got tree growth and all that kind of stuff. So, maybe one day I'll do that. I'll go on sort of a tour of all those old courses I used to play.
Yeah, and here recently, if you live in the south central Indiana area, boy, at least in Bloomington, there was a storm a couple of weeks ago that just wreaked havoc on the city. It looked like a tornado hit the entire city. Usually a tornado kind of goes through and leaves a path. Stuff was just damaged everywhere, trees down everywhere, and I'm talking big trees at like Bloomington Country Club, or trees at a golf club at Eagle Point. It's never the trees that need to go. It's never the trees that I want down, unfortunately. Right. Why is that?
Yeah, it's always the trees that give a property, what it needs to have, right? It's always the tree that you don't want to go down that goes down. I'm just looking outside today, and it looks like we're going to have rain here in the Indianapolis area for much of the day. So no yard work today, no golf today.
Mr. Yardman, does your neighborhood have an association?
Oh, I don't. I have an HOA. It's the Chris and Terry Denari HOA. We have no HOA because we live.
And you win.
Yeah, that's
win
right.
Every year.
We don't live in a neighborhood anymore. We lived in a neighborhood for nearly 30 years, and now we don't live in a neighborhood, and so it's pretty good. I
just didn't know if like where you do live. I've had the good fortune of going by there and then seeing the hard work that Chris has put into his backyard. It's awesome. What a great place for a gathering. But that's why I was asking. I'm like, man, you're going to win the award for nicest backyard upgrades there. Looking kind of nice. You need to have a gathering, but I need
to have a gathering sometime this fall. You're right. I don't want it to be so hot, but when the leaves start to change right before the season starts, you're right. That sounds good. And by the way, it's now August the 1st. So roughly about 2 months away from the start of training camp and getting ready for Pacers basketball. The Fever on a little bit of a hiatus right now because of the Olympics. Saw Tyrese Halliburton play yesterday. It was good to see him get on the floor, hit a couple of threes in the second quarter in their rout of South Sudan. So
that was his first. Those were his first minutes, wasn't it?
Yeah, he did not play in the first game, and neither did Jason Tatum.
And he played a ton last night.
Yeah, that tells you how good this team is, what kind of talent they have. I mean, Joel Embiid never got off the bench yesterday. So I don't know if I'd want to be Steve Kerr either, to be the head coach of a team with 12 of the best players in the world in a 40-minute game. You've got to try to figure, one, your job is to win the gold medal, but you've got to figure how do I get all these guys on the floor? I just saw something that popped across. Ross has just said that Gordon Hayward has announced his retirement. What if that's true? What a fantastic career for Gordon out of Brownsburg High School and Butler University.
Oh man. First thing I think of is Butler, Duke national championship, last second shot, Hoosiers coming to life in Indianapolis. If that shot goes down, we're talking about that forever.
Yeah.
There would not be a bigger shot in the history of the NCAA, period.
Maybe a basketball, maybe in all of basketball. I mean, go Olympics.
I agree. Everything.
I said this, Jim, and I can say this because in 1989, I was hired to be Butler University's first director of sports marketing. And so I got there. Barry Collier was the coach. And, Butler had 15 season ticket holders, 15. They presented me a shoebox that had slips of paper in it. And they were the 15 people that had actually paid for season tickets. That is true. And so when
their names should be forever printed at Hinkle.
So when I was sitting in Lucas Oil Stadium in 2010, watching Butler in the national championship game, you could have never have told me in 1989 that Butler would do what it did. And then, Jim, to back it up, they got there the next year. I honestly believe that though they didn't win a national championship in either of those games, I have to tell you that, to me, that's one of the greatest stories in the history of basketball. For Butler University, a school of about 4,000, to make back-to-back national championship games, I mean, that's incredible.
Oh, it's that stuff doesn't happen. Well, I was going to say that, but yet here we had Florida Atlantic and Dusty May, almost create magic against South Dakota or South San Diego State a couple of years ago. It was kind of the same thing, except for Florida Atlantic was on the wrong end of a last-second shot that went in that kept them from playing for a national championship.
Well, we've had George Mason, Florida Atlantic, VCU. Was VCU in the Final Four with Shaka Smart? And the fact that it can happen. But Butler did it back-to-back. I mean, they got to the national championship game back-to-back. One, I think we all know what kind of coach Brad Stevens is. And now what
just
kind
basketball mind, period.
And now what kind of front office executive he is with the Boston Celtics. I mean, just a fantastic person, fantastic basketball person. But again, I have all those memories of being a part of Butler in watching it grow and watching it elevate. I remember when I was doing the games back in 2003 when they got to the Sweet 16 for the very first time in franchise history, when they beat Mississippi State and Louisville. Back to Gordon Hayward. I mean, what a fantastic career. I think 14 years in the NBA. Just a great person, great dad. I remember seeing him earlier this year after he had been traded from Charlotte to Oklahoma City. And I sat down and talked to him briefly, and he just was talking about his kids. One of the things that was the bad thing for him getting traded during the season was he wasn't going to be around his kids. So, I hope Gordon settles back here in Indianapolis. His wife is from here. Hopefully this is a place that he'll call home. So, just a tremendous career for Gordon Hayward.
Absolutely. And I can confirm that he is indeed sent out a message that on Twitter that, he's done he's thanking everyone, of course. Yeah. And, to think about, he came right there from just outside of Indianapolis and to play for a national championship at home. That stuff, just crazy for that stuff to collide. All the things that have to happen for that stuff to collide are mind-boggling.
Well, Jim, it's why you do what you do. It's why I do what I do. Why we work in sports, right? It's just fantastic. The storytelling, the people you meet. It's not just the games. I had a chance. I've been playing golf with a number of my high school teammates and some other guys from Westfield that we've reconnected with. And one of the guys that we're playing with is a guy named Brandon Knight, was an offensive lineman at IU. Played in the NFL for 2 or 3 years. We like to laugh. Brandon's 28 years old, and he's hanging out with a bunch of 60-year-olds. But just a great guy. And one of the things I asked him the other day when we played, I said, hey, it's training camp time. What do you miss the most? And he said, hey, I don't miss the practices, but he goes, I miss the locker room. And I think, to anybody
doesn't almost every athlete. I mean, I
think to what everybody always talks about, it's those connections that you make. It's not even on the floor or on the field. It's in the locker room, getting to know your teammate, those types of things. So That's the cool thing that you've been a part of. I've been a part of, is that you're around these athletes. You're maybe not in the locker room with them, but you're close enough with them that you get to know them and know their personalities.
Yeah. How good of a golfer is Brandon?
Brandon can hit the ball, let me tell you. Brandon is really working on his game, and I've played with him like 4 or 5 times now. Just a great person. Played at Noblesville, played at IU. He played with Mitchell Page. Mitchell.
Oh man!
Yeah.
Oh God! But they would make a tough team, because Mitchell can stroke that ball, man.
I'll tell you, it's interesting to see. There are 2 guys that I know, and I've known them for a long time. I've known Mitchell. I've known his mom forever. Mitchell's a heck of a golfer. I'll tell you who another really good golfer is Ryan Klein, who played at Purdue. His dad, Mike, belongs at Crooked Stick, and Mike played college basketball at Ohio State with Clark Kellogg and Herb Williams, and is a really good golfer. Ryan Klein can hit the ball, let me tell you.
Yeah, it's never a surprise when these former athletes, there's a reason why they're good in the sports that they do. You have the talents that they have, just like our buddy Chris Denari. So yeah, I'll have to get you to send me his info, and actually I'd like to get him on the show and chat with him, but talk some golf with him, and maybe we can. Is he in Indy?
Yeah, he's either in Westfield or Noblesville. Yeah, so Brandon's here. Yep.
Perfect. We'll get him down to play in the Never Lose Hoop. I'm sure he would love to be a part of that, but that would be awesome. I'd love to get him on the show, but so I'll have you send me his info when we get off here.
Okay, sounds good.
What's up next for you, brother?
Well, when the fever season resumes, I am doing one game. I'm going to do the game August 24th at Minnesota. So I'll be reunited with my partner for many years, Debbie Antonelli, who works with Pat Boylan. Pat's brother is getting married that weekend, so I'll step in and do a game. I'm really looking forward to it. See if the Fever can hold on to a playoff spot. They're 11-15. They're either 7th or 8th right now in the WNBA playoff standings. Let's see, 20. They have 14 games left, so really a good time to make a push. I think this has been a valuable time for Caitlin Clark. While everybody wanted her in the Olympics, and it would have been great to see.
Sorry, go ahead.
I think having that time off is great, don't you, Jim? I mean,
oh, absolutely, for the team, because we've seen this team kind of get better. It's amazing how Christy Sides has gotten better. I'm just kidding. As the team has gotten some time under their, I mean, man, you can't go from 0 and expect it to be where it's going to be at the end of the season. So they had a tough schedule. They had a lot going against them. Caitlin Clark struggled with certain things. Not now. I mean, maybe still with the turnovers a little bit, but that's because she's got the ball in her hands so much. The thing about watching the women's Team USA, I'm like, they need Caitlin Clark out there. She is a difference maker, and I guarantee you now, I believe she's one of the top 5 players in the WNBA right now because of what she can do with the ball, and scoring is not the first thing that comes.
I agree. I mean, she hasn't shot the ball all that well, and that she will at some point, whether it's this year or the remainder of her career. But her ability to see the game, feel the game, set up her teammates, you're right. And, honestly, I mean, I think the toughest game for the women's national team was the All-Star game that the All-Stars won. I just think the talent level is too high for Team USA to be challenged in the Olympics. It's a little bit different on the men's side. I think there's a lot more NBA players internationally, and they're better. So I think the women's, I think Team USA on the women's side, I think they'll run through the Olympics. Would it be great to have Caitlin Clark? Absolutely. But I think for her career, for what the Fever hope to do this year, I just think it's good for her to step aside. I saw she was downtown. Jordan Davis, the country singer, was at the Everwise Amphitheater. And Caitlin's a big country music fan. She loves Luke Combs. She was on stage. I think those are great things for her. Just step away a little bit from basketball, enjoy your time, and come back and play those last 14 games and play them well.
Absolutely. Chris Denari, love you, brother. Appreciate you so much. And looking forward to hopefully playing some golf with you.
All right. Sounds good.
Enjoy the grandkids and have a great day, brother.
All right. Thanks, Jim.
You bet you. Thank you. Shannon, Chris Denari joining us here on Indiana Sports Beat Radio. Big thanks to Shannon Griffith, along with Bob Kravitz from bobkravitz.com, Travis Miller from BoilerUpload, and, of course, Chris Denari from chrisdenari.com. We're just going to give him his own account from now on, along with the Pacers, of course. And fill-in Fever, play-by-play. So you can get him all over the place. He's everywhere. I hope you guys go out and have yourselves a great day. We're back tomorrow to do it again. Until then, I'm Jim Coyle. I will see you on the radio.
Thanks for listening to Indiana Sports Beat Radio. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube page for more clips and team coverage of Indiana basketball, football, and more. You can also find full episodes and tons of other content on thehoosier.com. We'll see you next time for another edition of Indiana Sports Beat Radio.
In the market for a new or used vehicle? Well, nobody beats the prices and selection of Andy Moore Honda in Bloomington. Right now, get a brand new Honda with no payments for 90 days. That's right, 2023 and 2024 Honda Pilots, HRVs, CRVs, Honda Ridgelines, payment-free for 90 days. Or get 0.9% APR financing for 36 months on a 2023 Honda Ridgeline. Go to AndyMooreHonda.com and get more to your door.
Looking for someone to cater your next corporate event, family reunion, or tailgate? To some, a garnish may be nothing more than just a decoration put last on a plate. But in Bloomington, catering starts with Garnish Catering. Serving all of Bloomington and surrounding areas, Garnish Catering is waiting to help make your next event one to remember. Planning a great event shouldn't have to be stressful. Whether we quote you just for catering or a total event package, you can trust that you're making the right choice with Garnish Catering. Visit garnishcatering.com. That's garnishcatering.com. Garnish Catering is a proud partner of WOW Food Group.
If you're looking for a home in the Indianapolis area, you need Cheryl Sizemore from RE/MAX Advanced Realty. Cheryl Sizemore has over 2 decades of experience, and that could be the difference in you getting the home you want in today's tough housing market. Reach out to Cheryl Sizemore from RE/MAX Advanced Realty at cheryl@indiehomepros.com or 317-298-0961. Cheryl Sizemore from RE/MAX Advanced Realty. Let Cheryl Sizemore get you in the home you want today. Cheryl@indiehomepros.com. Whether it's a night out with the family, after work with colleagues, or catching the game with friends, Bubba's 33 is the place for you. Bubba's 33 offers a mouthwatering menu of selections that are all made from scratch every day. The portions are big, but the prices are small. And with over 50 big screen TVs, you'll never miss the big game. Bubba's 33, pizza, burgers, beer. The Ugly Grouper, located on beautiful Anna Memorial in Florida, is the place to be, and not just because they have unforgettable meals, including locally sourced seafood. The Ugly Grouper has your favorite craft beers and cocktails, along with live music every day. The Ugly Grouper is family-friendly, able to host private parties, and has the biggest grouper you've ever seen. The Ugly Grouper is the place to be on Anna Memorial in Florida. Tell them Indiana Sports Beat sent you. Go to theuglygrouper.com for more information.
Country living is just a swing away. It can be hard to find the exact home that fits your family's needs, so there couldn't be a better time to build a new home with Property Shore Construction. Now building exclusively south of Bloomington within the Stonecrest Golf community. Choose from one of the gorgeous Stonecrest Signature Series house plans. We have several lots available with scenic views of the golf course. Contact Amy Rhoda with Ravesco Real Estate for additional information. 812-583-0919 or go to mystonecrestliving.com. That's mystonecrestliving.com for more details.